Hello Markham Gardens family, Daniel Markham here. Glad you guys could come along today. Today I wanted to show you what I'm doing. So we had some old rubber hoses here at the gardens, and they kept getting kinked. Of course, they're the hoses that say no kink, you know, never kink. They're always gonna be good. You know, they're supposed to be really good quality hoses. Well, I've been using them for about 1.5 years, going on 2 years here now. And they have begun to kink like crazy. In fact, I've got a couple of them that have a couple bulges in them. They are letting go. So I decided to go ahead and order some new hoses, and let me show you what I ordered. So I went ahead and ordered the metal-clad hoses, guys. These are stainless steel, and basically they won't rust. They can't kink. They're super easy to maneuver around. The only thing I will say about these, the only negative to them, is that you cannot run over these things. So I do have one on the other side of the property that is going to be running across the driveway on occasion, and you cannot run over these things. It will absolutely flatten them, and they will kink at that point. So but a lot of people have complaints that these are too hot. Guys, the black hoses that I've been using have gotten a lot hotter than these do. And so the only other negative thing that I can think of on them is that they're only a 1/2 inch diameter, which means you're going to get a lot less water flow out of them. So your flow is definitely going to drop in there as compared to when you use a, like a 3/4 hose or something like that. So, but I get plenty, and you guys know I've showed you in the past the water sprinkler system that I'm using. It is a low flow, and so it works perfectly fine with these metal-clad hoses. But because I am using metal-clad hoses now, all of those hoses that were leaking, that were just causing me major issues, I think they're all like 75-foot hoses, and I thought, how can I put these things to use? Well, there's been in the plan to put in an irrigation system on this property. And I keep thinking, I need to buy that, either, well, hang tight guys, we got the loggers going by. But my thought process is, I need to put in some sort of a drip system. I'm watering from the top, but it really doesn't get the water deep enough to saturate the root level. And really, on occasion, you should saturate the root level, guys. You should saturate that whole area. That means watering for hours upon time so that you get a nice deep soak. And so what I decided to do is go ahead and make me what they call a poor man drip system, guys. I have got 3 75-foot hoses, rubber hoses, and I was like, what can I put them to use to? Let me show you guys what I did. So you guys can see right down here, I took my metal-clad hose and I just attached it to the end of the hose here. And what I've done is I've run it by every plant in the yard. So crepe myrtles, I've run it by the vitex, I've run it by another crepe myrtle, both of these crepe myrtles. But you guys get the idea. You can see I basically trailed it around the base of every one of these trees in the yard. All the Fuji persimmon, the plums. I mean, I have got 3 lengths of 75-foot hose out here. And so I went ahead and I ran it around every trunk of every tree in the orchard to go ahead and make me a drip system out of this. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough flow and enough pressure to make this work. You can see how I've got to go back and forth to hit some of these trees. But I'm going to put good use to these hoses since they're no good anymore, and I've got the metal-clad hoses. So let me show you what I did with them. So as cheesy and simple as this may sound, guys, I went in and I grabbed a drill. And I grabbed the tiniest bit that I could find. Let me show you what I got. So I just grabbed my trusty Ryobi drill. It's run forever. Don't give me crap about Ryobi, guys. And I grabbed the smallest drill bit that I have, and I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what size drill bit that is. But it is absolutely tiny. Let me see if I can get my hand up here so you guys can see. I mean, you can see it's a little guy. And so all I did was I came down here on the base of each one of these next to the tree, And I've got it running right now, and I drilled a tiny little hole in each one of these. And I made sure that I rolled the hose up, drilled the hole, and then let the hose go. That way they're all facing the ground and they're all running around each one of these. Now you would think that after drilling a hole in each and every one of these through the entire orchard all the way down into the bottom area in the fence. Let me show you guys. So every one of these trees has hose run to it, every one of them. They even come out here on the loquat, both of the loquats, the lime tree, the blackberries, the other peaches, all the blueberries, which you can see the lack of water. I have not been able to keep up with watering these things. I mean, the blueberry is super struggling. Now, it will not die. It's still got some life in it. Right now, it's basically saying, you know what, I'm not getting enough water. I'm going dormant. All my leaves are done for. But it will come back. You can see that I've got some life still on it. But it is looking awful, and I thought, I've got to do something. So I went ahead and ran it through all the blueberries. I even ran it down into the bottom of the property down here, the casters and the crepe myrtles. You can see I've got the crepe myrtles down here, the black diamond crepe myrtle, and a couple other crepe myrtles on this back side. And to be honest with you, I still have enough pressure that I could actually connect more. You can see the end of the hoses down here, and all I did was put a little valve on it to stop it. So I can actually open this and grab more, but you can see I've still got plenty of flow, guys. I can add more hose if I need to. I could even add some tees up at the top if I needed to add more spots. And so I've got plenty of pressure for this irrigation system, but you can see I've got a bald cypress here. I've got another bald cypress here. Those have not been set up with watering, so I'll probably run me a little section of hose just to cover those two. But guys, talk about cheap way to do it. I mean, the original cost of the hoses in the beginning, I think maybe each hose was probably 30, 40 bucks. I used them for going on 2 years. They're kinking like crazy. They're no good for, you know, hauling from one place to the other, because as you're pulling it, they kink. You know, go around stuff, they kink. Go around stuff, they twist a circle and they get stuck on logs and all sorts of stuff. It's a pain in the butt. So I got 3 new hoses, and now I've got me a drip system, guys. So listen, if you're wanting a drip system, if you don't have one in your garden, granted, the hoses are sitting on top of the ground and it can look a little bit messy, but it's the orchard, guys. I don't really care. But honestly, through time, I can bury all of the pieces between the trees. I can bury them underneath the soil. I can bury them underneath mulch, since I'm consistently adding mulch. And it'll end up looking nice. I can walk through the orchard without ever having to step on those hoses. I imagine eventually the hoses will give out and I will have to go to a full-on drip system, guys. But this is the cheapest way that I could think of, you know, to create a drip system in that orchard area. And honestly, I am now thinking about adding a drip system to all of these beds, guys. Use some old hoses. I'm gonna talk to neighbors, talk to people that I know, see about getting some hoses and see if I can make this happen. Now, I have got chickens in my garden bed. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all better not be tearing up my plants. Leo, I know this is your fault. I know you're the one that let them over here. But anyway, guys, I was just super excited about it. It's less area I have to move hose. It's less area I have to move sprayers. And it definitely is going to get the job done. I can leave it on a lot longer. So, you know, most of the situations, I'm basically running the hose for an hour. If it's on this drip system, it's using a lot less water. I can actually run these things for several hours. And the trees will get a nice deep soak. They'll get all the water that they need. And in the summertime, guys, I mean, you can see me sweating right now. I'm absolutely soaked out here. But they need the water. And it's been a struggle to try to keep up with it. You know, I've told you guys in the past, I'm on a airlift well. And so there's not a lot of volume comes out of that well, because the air, basically, it's a compressor that pushes the air down into the ground. And then the pressure of that air rising back up the pipe is what pulls the water, kind of like a straw, and then pours it into the tank, but it's never enough to run it for any real extended amount of time. And so because we run out of water, basically if I run an hour, if I run about 2 hours of irrigation at full blast out here, that water will last, it'll run out in our tank basically after 2 hours. And so that's the water that we use for the house, we use for the irrigation, everything. And so I've really had to come up with some ways to save water. You know, how do I water an entire orchard and a whole property full of plants and still use water inside the house without running out of water? And so this is one of the methods that I've come up with, guys. So if you have old hoses and you don't have a drip system, guys, utilize those old hoses. It is super effective. And it is just running like crazy out here. So I will come check on these multiple times and just make sure that they are still flowing. But I mean, you can see, even with all the holes that we've got for the entire orchard, that's a lot of good flow. I mean, that's pretty fast flow. So super happy about it. Thought I'd show you guys what I've been doing today. All it took, guys, was a drill gun, the tiniest drill bit I could get my hands on, and 3 old crappy hoses with a valve on the end. So anyway, give it a shot, guys. It works great. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope your gardens are growing amazing right now. I know it's hot. Hang in there, guys. It's gonna cool off soon. But anyway, love you guys. Talk to you in the next one. Shalom under the dome. Oh, taking me over here and showing me that the chickens are instant. Hey, Tucker. Tucker. What are those chickens doing? What are those chickens doing? Y'all better not be tearing up my plants. All right, come on, Tucker. Let's go.